What's up, you guys? Alex back here with Carolina Fathom. Today we're going to be doing a video on how I ended up making $10,000 in the last 5 months selling nothing but Facebook Marketplace mowers. That is buying them for cheap and then as well as fixing them on a budget and then selling them for the max amount of profit we can get. It's been working pretty well for us, so we're going to sit down and break down kind of how much we bought mowers for, what mowers we bought, what we looked for, and kind of the issues that we were facing when we bought the mowers. So let's jump into that. All right, so the first mower that we did purchase was a Ariens 54-inch Zoom XL. The guy had it on Facebook Marketplace for $1,800. We shot him an offer of $800 and a Remington 870 12-gauge shotgun. He ended up wanting the shotgun and the $800, so we went ahead and picked that up. It had of course, the 54-inch fully fabricated deck. Had the Kawasaki Residential FR 691, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with this mower. It was in great shape. PTO worked, blades were sharp, it worked phenomenal. We ended up selling that mower for $2,200 and I think 2 days of having it. So that was a really good profit right there. I valued the gun at $300. I had purchased a shotgun for dove season. Got that, I think it was like $320 out the door, but not a very expensive shotgun, but we made it happen. So I think we had $1,100 in buying the zero turn, and then we sold it for $2,200, so that's an $1,100 profit right there. The next mower that we purchased, we were going around doing yard sales, just looking for lawn equipment and stuff like that. We found an Exmark Laser Z CT for $400. It was not running. You can obviously told that the motor was not the original motor that was on it. It had I think it was a 21 horsepower Briggs & Stratton, and it was a very commercialized zero turn. It had the fully fabricated deck, and we ended up having to do a full engine tear down on that. So I think we did the crank seal, the crankcase gasket, the head gasket, and then of course we adjusted the valves and the new valve cover gasket and oil filter and stuff like that. We ended up selling that for $1,600 once we got it running. We made a $1,200 profit just on that zero turn. And then the next mower that we did pick up was the Toro Z Master. We picked that up for $500. We had to drive 2 hours away. The guy was getting rid of it. He had just bought a brand new zero turn, so he just needed some more room in his garage so he can fit the new zero turn. So we went down there, picked it up for $500. It had a stamp deck, and it also came with the Kohler Command 23 horsepower. We had that mower for about, I think, 2 days, and one of my buddies wanted it, and we sold it to him for $2,000. We made $1,500 on just that zero turn. So that was a pretty good flip as well. The next mower that we did purchase was a Husqvarna TS 148X. It was basically a brand new mower, had a little bit over 100 hours. Also came with the Briggs & Stratton V-twin 24 horsepower motor. So that was a really good lawnmower. Was in a pinch, and we ended up selling that well, we ended up buying the lawnmower for $1,000. Ended up selling the lawnmower for the exact same price of $1,000. It was sitting on Facebook Marketplace, wasn't selling really much, so we ended up just letting it go. After that, we bought a Troy built, I think it was a Mustang, 50-inch zero turn. We bought that for $650, and we also had to drive 2 hours away to get that zero turn. When we got there, the guy let us know that the exhaust needed to be put back on. I did not know what that meant at the time, but we ended up purchasing it anyways, bringing it home, and had to take the exhaust off and put it literally right back on. Crunk it up, and it was quiet as ever. But when we did get it, it sounded like a motorcycle was in here. But other than that, it had the stamped deck, and it really had no issues. It cut the grass perfectly fine, probably better than any of the other mowers that I actually have had. But we sold that mower. We used that mower for quite some time with my lawn care business because I do cut grass. I'll buy these lawn mowers and then I'll fix them, use them to cut my grass, and then if I can, then I'll use them and cut my customers' yards as well. But the Troy Built was a really nice mower. One of probably the most slept on mowers that I have came across for myself. But we ended up selling that one for $1,500. So we made, I think it was an $850 profit on that one. But we also purchased, we made a post on Facebook Marketplace that we buy push mowers, riding mowers, and zero turns. Well, we got 2 people that messaged us. One was a lady who had 3 push mowers. One was a Troy Built 21-inch cut. The next one was the Briggs & Stratton 21-inch cut. And then the next one was the Craftsman 21-inch self-propelled lawnmower. We got all 3 of those for $60. We paid $20 a piece for those. And we sold the Troy Built for $120, the Briggs & Stratton mower for $120, and then the Craftsman self-propelled, we sold that for $150. So we made really good money on that one. Every single one of the push mowers needed the carb clean. That was it. We sharpened the blades on it, made sure the oil was still good in them, but they were perfect. The next mower that I did purchase from the Facebook ad was a John Deere STX 38. When the lady messaged me, it looked like one of the best mowers. I thought I was going to be able to restore it and do all types of stuff with it, but I was not able to do any of that stuff. It was actually one of the worst lawnmowers that I have had. The transaxle was leaking, all the belts were bad. I think there was pulleys that were rusted out. I found a Black Widow inside the deck. When I took the deck off, the deck was rusted out. But I ended up paying $75. When I got there, I really didn't want to buy the mower, but I ended up purchasing it anyways. But while I was trying to load it up on the trailer, I pulled my back. And I messed up my back, so I was out of the game for a while. Couldn't mess with the mower. And ended up selling that mower for $100 and made a $25 profit on that. I don't know if it was a profit because of how much pain I was in, but we'll let that slide. The next, I did have one other guy, I did forget about this guy, messaged me on Facebook Marketplace, commented on the post that I had made, and he had a Husqvarna YTH 21K46. He was wanting $150 for it. When we got there, the thing looked brand new. It just wasn't running. So we got it home, got it running. It had the Kohler motor on it. I think it was a 22 horsepower Kohler motor or something like that, but it ran perfectly fine. Everything else ran perfectly fine. The deck was perfect. The transaxle worked perfect. It moved. It went back and forth. There was nothing wrong with this mower. It just looked like it sat out and he got a new lawnmower. But we ended up selling that for $400. The reason it had, I think, 500 hours on it or something like that, but we sold that within 15 minutes of posting it on Facebook Marketplace. It needed a seat and it needed a battery, but you can't beat it. And then the very last mower that we have that we haven't profited off of or anything like that, which won't be included in any of the spent or the profit, is the Toro Time Cutter MX 4250. We paid $1,400 for that zero turn right there, and I was very disappointed when I got it because every time I tried to use it to cut grass, it would cut off on me. I didn't know what was wrong with it. Come to find out, the seat switch was not getting compressed. So the seat had fallen off and he just stuck it back on there and it wasn't pressing how it should have. So it was releasing the safety switch. And the PTO switch was bad. So every time you engage the blades, it would start and then it would cut off. So we ended up, while we were on the job site, cutting some grass for a commercial client of mine, the PTO switch and the solenoid went out in the zero turn. So we had to leave the mower, go to the parts store, buy the parts, fix it, and finish cutting the grass. But that's been a very good mower. There has been no issues other than that on that zero turn, but we do have that zero turn for sale for $2,500. So we're hoping to make a pretty good profit on that one as well. But so far, I know I didn't write down any of the numbers, so I'll have them on the side right here or somewhere over here to where y'all can see how much we made, how much we spent, and then the total of everything. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I appreciate y'all sitting here and listening to me babble about what I bought and what I've sold. So I appreciate it. We'll catch y'all on the next one.